Welcome back to Scoreline. Some madness from the transfer window. The big money spent on Alexander Isak, on Florian Wirtz, on Hugo Ekitike. Those, incredibly, all play for the same team. Manchester United, $99 million for Benjamin Šeško and Nick Voltemada. The 2-meter Messi going for $100 million to Newcastle. Yeah, that's his nickname. He's 6'6", but still has an incredible dribbling ability. As we welcome you back into our Golazo Network studio. So now it is time. We love some power rankings around here. Give us your top 10 transfers. And I would like to also ask, how did you come up with this? Is it most impactful, most leading to winning, or just kind of the biggest stories in your judgment?
Yeah, I brought the iPad so I don't forget anything here, and I'm going to start obviously at the very top because it was very difficult to choose which leagues actually had success. Obviously the Premier League made so much noise with the amount of players and money that they were actually trading hands with. So I've actually gone to Arsenal first and foremost with my 10th place, and I'll work my way up to 1. I want your opinion as well. I've gone for Martin Zubimendi. Obviously a piece to the puzzle that I think Arsenal desperately needed. Not many people probably recognise him from what he's done in Spanish football, but an outstanding player, talented player that has a bit of bite, a bit of aggression, will take some time to maybe gel into the Arsenal team and basically show how good he can be. But I think if you're looking at obviously Arsenal, the biggest missing piece for them was the goal scorer, right? They needed that Gyokeres. But there are some players, some elements that can just help everybody else in different areas. And I think Zubimendi is one of those players that can help that midfield, that can help those defensive players be better players. I think he's a bit of quality, he's a bit of me. So I've gone for the impact he's going to have right there. Ekitike's dropped down. I'm not saying I wouldn't have him near 1 because of the impact he's had at Liverpool so far. I think Ekitike, watching him at Eintracht Frankfurt, even previously before he arrived to German football, you already recognise the talent and the danger he was going to be. He's got off to a great start at Liverpool Football Club, scoring goals, and many people were questioning, even myself, why do you even need to go to get Alexander Isak? The reason why I've got him in 9th is because I feel like he's just going to take a place on the bench, and his performance against Arsenal.
Do you think so? You don't think there's a way to fit,
no,
let's say, Ekitike on the left, Isak up front, and Salah on the right? Does that not make sense to you?
It does for some players, right? But for Ekitike in particular, if you look at what he did do at Eintracht Frankfurt, Marmoush was that guy who was having to drop off, and Ekitike was always the guy who was playing the pinpoint man. So unless Isak does that, then maybe. If they go with a 2, I can maybe see it working, but I think he's a pinpoint striker. I think he's a solid number 9. And I think what you've got from him already is excitement, because Liverpool fans know and understand that he's going to be a great fit. So what do you think of those two? Obviously Zubimendi and Ekitike.
I mean, Zubimendi is a bit of a to be determined, because I think we have seen different versions of that Arsenal midfield in this early season. What does it look like with him and Rice? Who holds, who goes? They were more defensive in this game against Liverpool at the weekend. So I think it's a little bit of a to be determined. I really like Ekitike as a player, but I share your fit concerns. And the overall, what is the plan for all these players? Did they have in mind at the start of the window, we're going to go get Ekitike and Isak, and we know how this works together? And also, I think, is this kind of with a view towards eventually, when Mo Salah departs and is no longer at the football club, are these the 2 main men that'll be there? Yeah,
long-term look for them, obviously with how young Ekitike is, but already showcasing exactly how good he can be in front if there is that type of injury. And let's not forget, Alexander Isak is not always healthy. He missed a lot of games when he was playing for Newcastle, scored a lot of goals, but missed a lot of games. So there are those periods where Ekitike is going to have to step up and be the main man, and he's already proven that he can be exactly that, except for this game. I wanted a little bit more from him against Arsenal. Xavi Simons is in there, simply because I've watched a lot of this kid. Obviously, he's been on multiple loan spells and done a great job on those loan spells. And I do think that it's a to-be-determined move for him going to Tottenham, because obviously he's a player that can impact games. He can basically create things out of nothing. He's also somewhat of a goal scorer. In many ways, he kind of forced a move away from Leipzig this year. I was surprised to see that happen, but understanding with how poor Leipzig have been, and obviously no European competition for them with the Champions League, I do think it's disappointing for them. And Xavi Simons is a game changer for me. I've watched this kid closely throughout all of his loan spells and coming back to Leipzig, and I thought, this guy's unbelievable. He can be a real big talent, and he can really push Tottenham to greater things. Agree or no?
Do you think with him, Kudus and Kolomuani, who were the big attacking additions, that they have added enough? Obviously, they lose Son, who was that kind of key figure. Him and Kane were so reliable in big moments for them. They were the main men in this team. Do you feel like they have main men in this team now, with Simons, with Kudus, and with, obviously, up front in Kolomuani?
I love what Tottenham have got. I do. I love it. I think they're a great manager as well. And this piece to the puzzle could be what gets them into European football, could be what gets them close to that Champions League spot. It'll be close. Tottenham have got room for improvement. They were pretty poor last year. year, but I think that's a great piece of the puzzle. Similar to what we've gone with number 7 as well. Luis Diaz, I think, is a great pickup for Bayern Munich. It's very difficult now to be in the market now because of what we've been previously talking about in our previous segments. So much money's been trading hands that I think Luis Diaz going to Bayern Munich was a personal decision. He wanted something different. Going to Bayern Munich makes Bayern Munich better, much more competitive, and I think in the Champions League, Bayern are a force to be reckoned with, and probably because Luis Diaz has been that addition into the squad.
He's been superb so far. The one worry, though, and this is kind of a very sort of modern view of transfers, because I think maybe previously you look at transfers as the player that you've bought. But I think in this era of value being such a key thing to preserve, the one thing that would worry me from a Bayern perspective is they've spent a lot of money on this player.
Yes.
And he's 28, I believe. So this is probably his last go at being at the very top level. So I would worry about you're really not going to recover much on the back end. They've got to win things with Luis Diaz, and this goes beyond, in my view, just winning the Bundesliga or just winning things in Germany. They've got to win things in Europe to justify this expenditure and the Nico Jackson one as well.
He's already won at Liverpool, though. Let's not forget that. He's done a lot at Liverpool Football Club, and he actually made Liverpool, in my opinion, better. He was great if he wasn't on the field from the start. He was great coming off the bench as well. And I hope that Florian Wirtz can be that guy for Liverpool, obviously, going forward. I do think that Florian Wirtz's move was a one that he personally wanted to prove how good he was. I always have this question about him in big games. Is he a player that turns up in big games, or is he not that type of a player? Certainly statistically in the Bundesliga and for Leverkusen in an undefeated season under Xabi Alonso, I thought he became world class. But now, can you translate that to the Premier League? Because there's been a world-class player in the Bundesliga, but then there's been a world-class player, I feel, in the Premier League. It's a completely different league.
It hasn't gone well so far.
Different ask.
It hasn't gone well so far.
No, but it will take time for him.
Yeah.
Florian Wirtz is going to make me watch Liverpool Football Club. I'm going to tell you that. I don't like Liverpool Football Club, but I do like Florian Wirtz. So he's going to make me, because I know how good he can be. He's a genius. He's an absolute genius, but he's got to get going, because very quickly, if confidence affects some players, like Florian Wirtz, very quickly you can find yourself out of that Liverpool team, because they're going to be under pressure to win every single game now with what they've got going forward.
And he has more expectation of performance as well.
Yeah, I mean, he does, yeah. As the same with Eberechi, right? Eberechi's in our number 5 spot because the move, I think, was amazingly done by the player himself. It's a personal move from him to want to go to a club that he supported. I love that. I admire that. Terrific player. Did something pretty special for Palace. He's a great player and a great addition, and a wide area that I think that Arsenal were really struggling with. He will create for Gyokeres, but he also score goals himself. So special player going to Arsenal that I think is going to improve them, and I think get them closer to that title.
The one worry that I have about Eze and some of the other signings as well that Arsenal have made, yes, they're incredibly deep now. Yep. But I'm a little bit questioning of what the best 11 or the ideal 11 is for Arteta in big games. I appreciate they already have Odegaard and Saka out injured. That very rarely happens with as many games as you play. Yeah. But I feel like there are players where, are they going to start in big games? What is their role? Do you play off the left? Do you play in the middle? Right. How does that fit in terms of an overall tactical setup? Because we know what Arsenal are defensively. We know what Arsenal are over set pieces. Right. But in terms of open play, what is Eze creating and in what context? So I
don't think that Arteta knows, though, yet. He's going to have to take time to get that to work, right? Clearly didn't work at the weekend.
Don't have much time
against Anfield. I understand that. And you very quickly can lose that Premier League title, or at least the chance of winning the title, if you don't start to get it going early in the campaign. It was a poor decision, I think, not to start Eze at the weekend. I would have started him. I'd have thrown him straight in there and go for the points. Why not? Yeah. You're at Anfield. This guy's lights out when he's on his game. I'll be quick with Dean Huijsen, because I think it's a big move and a brave decision to go to Real Madrid at any time. I do think what he did do in the Premier League was very, very good. He's a slow start, I think, to his first few games at Bournemouth, but then all of a sudden was absolutely lights out. And I think for Real Madrid, he's going to be a real key impact player, and that's an area that I think Real Madrid need to strengthen in. Already got off to a very good, impactful start at Real Madrid, and he showcased exactly how good he got his assist. And I think he's obviously dangerous on set plays as well. But that solid performer along the back line, great passer, loves to run into midfield. I think he makes Real Madrid a better team. I think he's the type of player that will fit with Xabi Alonso's philosophy and how he wants to play as well.
And one that Juventus will regret. They had him in their youth system, they loaned him out, and then sold him, and now Real Madrid get to reap the benefits. João Pedro, number 3.
I've gone for him at number 3 simply because of the impact he's already had. And of course, people will critique him as to where his goals are coming from. A lot of penalty kicks at Brighton. But I do think that the impact he's already had at Chelsea, and Chelsea were amazing in this transfer window. What they did do business-wise, obviously we talked about profit and loss. I mean, Chelsea making a profit, the way they've handled their business has been truly exceptional and wonderful, and very learning for someone like me who tries to understand, you know, money trading hands, but also players. How do you handle players? He's come through the door and absolutely loved life at Chelsea Football Club, and I think he makes them a better team. The impact he's had so far has been quite special, and a lot of fantasy players are enjoying having him in the team.
Yes, indeed, and they're world champions because of him.
Yes.
The one question that I have about Chelsea, because you mentioned that idea of making a profit. Yes, from a value standpoint, from a making profit standpoint, do you feel like, though, that Chelsea as a team have gotten better and have gotten closer towards winning a Premier League or winning the major honours that they actually want to win?
Yeah, I said this in the summer. I think there's no reason why Chelsea should not believe going into the season that they can win the Premier League. They have a squad, in my personal opinion, that is good enough to be able to compete with Liverpool and Arsenal. I don't care what anyone says. This is a team that is deep, and they proved it in the Club World Cup. They are deep and dangerous, and they're getting better.
You've talked about your level of positivity surrounding Arsenal. Viktor Gyokeres, the striker, finally came in. Mixed returns so far. Do you think he'll make an impact?
Yeah, listen, I like Viktor Gyokeres. I think obviously it takes time to settle to the Premier League. He's never competed in the Premier League before, has competed in the Champions League, done well, especially against Manchester City, for example. But at Sporting, kind of forced this move. But I do think that Arsenal were waiting for that one striker that they needed, that they knew could score goals for them. They create enough chances for someone to score goals. Gyokeres just needs that confidence. He showed it against Leeds in that one game. I think at the weekend he was starved of opportunity in front of goal. I mean, Arsenal didn't create enough, and I blame Arteta for that, for not being more adventurous going forward. And I do believe that obviously Gyokeres, I'm believing, which is why I'm putting him as number 2, that it was a great move and my second favourite move this transfer window.
And number 1 is Alexander Isak.
Yeah, I find it hard to go for Isak because of how he handled this transfer. But how can you not applaud what Liverpool did do with this transfer window? And their main asset now is Alexander Isak. They've invested heavily, they didn't have to, but they wanted this guy, they went and got him, and they made it happen. I love that for the player because I think he's a quality player, but he's still got to prove it at Anfield. Scoring goals at Newcastle was one thing. Scoring goals at Anfield for Liverpool Football Club is something completely different, especially when it comes to the elite level in the Champions League, which is what Liverpool Football Club are going for. Premier League title, Champions League title, job done. Isak, success story. I think he is going to that football club with a real chip on his shoulder now because of all the nonsense he has taken, even from people like me. I didn't like the way he handled the situation. I thought it was handled incredibly poorly from his advisors and from the player himself, but he got his move. Now, if this comes off, and Liverpool do go on and win a double, treble, Champions League, Premier League, you would have to say this might be one of the best signings we've ever seen for Liverpool Football Club because it's a big, big addition at that fee as well.